What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TalkChain. Today we're going to get into the Canadian government using Ether for one of their bullshit projects. We're also going to talk about the Request Network and what their latest blog post means, and we're also going to look into the markets in general and how they're pulling back a little bit. Rob, what's going on?
Not too much, buddy. Just watching my blockfolio shrink as time goes by.
Yeah, you're hurting a little bit from this pullback?
Yeah, I keep hitting refresh, hoping it'll go the other way finally, but double-digit losses all across the board today.
Yeah, it looks that way. So total market cap around 540 billion. Bitcoin makes up about a third of that. Pretty much, yeah, everything. I don't know what happened. We sort of bounced off of, I drew a kind of a bullshit trend line, and we sort of bounced off of it and are testing this sort of 11,000 area, which we bounced off of twice in the last week or so after the recovery from that giant dip we had.
Yeah, part of me thinks that it's just people selling after. So we had that initial pullback, and everyone who got scared but kind of held on was waiting for kind of a little bit of a recovery. And I think this might be the sell-off of the recovery.
Yeah, and so we haven't broken any sort of serious support lines that I would say. So this 11,200 on Bitcoin anyway, the fact that it's bounced off of that twice already, you could look at it two different ways where continually bouncing off of it means that it's a very strong line. There's a lot of buying at that point, but also that the fact that it gets pushed down to that line means that there's a lot of selling pressure around there too. So I don't know. I'm not too worried yet. It's just part of the normal market fluctuations, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely. I think the only one that, and this is with minimal technical analysis knowledge, the only support line that people seem to care about who also care about technical analysis is that $8,000 mark for Bitcoin. And they think if it goes below that, then it will be devastating for everybody. But
Oh, really?
yeah, so I've never heard anything that would consider it to be the end of the world. There's not really any sort of news or any sort of information that has resulted in this. So yeah, it just seems like part of the
Yeah.
market.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, Rob, do you have any details? So the Canadian government, your dear leader, Justin Trudeau, is going to implement Ethereum for something.
Our fearless leader Justin Trudeau. Yeah, so I think really in summary, they're going to test out grant distributions for just R&D projects or for universities, and they're just going to put it all on the blockchain. So anyone who wants to see where the grant money is going and how much each grant is worth and what those projects are supposed to be used for, can just by looking at the blockchain and looking at the smart contract itself.
Yeah, so I guess they're just going to use this public ledger to just like a nice, simple little tool to show grant funding.
Yeah, it's great because that's really what a lot of proponents of the blockchain say that it can be used for is government transparency. And I think everyone can agree that is the more transparent a government is, the better for everybody involved.
Yeah, yeah, definitely agree with that. I think it's nice to think that a government is actually getting behind something that's got such destructive potential as blockchain technology, especially Ethereum, where they can use the smart contracts. But for them to incorporate something like this shows a nice, sort of a nice, refreshing breath of fresh air from a government, anyway.
Well, that's what I was saying yesterday. Justin Trudeau, he's young, he's hip, he's into this technological revolution that we've got going on here.
Yeah, but I wonder. I'm trying to think of ways that they could use it for horrific purposes, but I can't really think of anything other than trying to regulate it.
No, it doesn't seem like it would be possible because that's the point, is that it's so open. So you wouldn't want you doing something illegal or them doing something sketchy in public because somebody might verify it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like the anti Big Brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm. Right on. Yeah, so that's kind of nice. It didn't really help the Ethereum price too much, sadly.
Well, it is Canada. It's not. It's not
Yeah.
South Korea.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. But you would think that if the government is sort of touting its name, I
Well,
guess
yeah.
it would like encourage people to go out and buy it. But I don't know.
I don't think this is something that would breach mainstream news. It's not something that I would see even on like a financial website for Canadians. It wouldn't be. It
Hmm.
wouldn't make it on there just because
Oh, really?
nobody would really know what it is.
Yeah, I guess not. It's too like specialized in its own technological way for it to be really like mainstream.
Definitely, it's too specialized and it's too yeah it's too in such a small realm of government that like the average Canadian isn't looking up where research grants are going.
Mm, yeah, yeah, that's fair. Well, so anyway, we also wanted to talk about today the request network, and the reason for that is that on the 19th of this month, they put out a project update announcing a $30 million request fund. So, if I understand this correctly, they are offering grants to groups of people who want to do some work for the request network, and this includes a bunch of different things, including mobile apps to create, detect, and pay requests, invoicing apps, point of sale, P2P payments, crowdfunding apps, and so on. So I think this sort of took people by surprise. I guess I should just say before that, Request Network is among the payment coins, the financial coins, of which there's Ripple, Stellar Lumens, and OMG. Request Network is the smallest one of the four, but they're sort of hoping to be this e-commerce coin that's decentralized and has a public ledger and can be used in a bunch of different ways to help business and help people with their e-payments.
Yeah,
So,
so it's supposed to be like PayPal 2.0 seems to be the main slogan that they've got going on. And
mm-hmm,
anyone that's involved in the project, or anyone that's invested or has coins, request coins, says that constantly.
right,
I think it makes it. I think the update is questionable just because of the they had a big ambitious goal to create this system where if I want to request a payment from you, I can essentially just do that, and it would be very quick, like requesting an e-transfer. Um,
mm-hmm,
and it seems like they're asking for help in almost every aspect
yeah,
of what they were supposed to do. So that's what makes it a little more questionable. They were supposed to do some like accounting software, some peer-to-peer payment stuff, crowdfunding stuff, and, and yeah, it just looks like they're asking for help everywhere. So and I'm not entirely sure what the main team is doing while that's going on.
yeah. So it seems like the team itself, they're sort of in the know-how. From what I read, they're people who've been in the business. They've already created a few websites that are involved with sort of finance and e-payments. The website that they all came from, or that some of them came from, it's called Money TIS, Money TIS. I don't know what how to say it, but the website's kind of cool. It searches for the best exchange rate that you can get if you want to send money abroad, and it changes the money into whatever currency you want. And it's kind of a cool little thing. So I think they know how to build a website. They know how to do development of things like that. But the ambitious goal they have of this PayPal 2.0, if you want to call it that,
Mhm.
it's a huge undertaking. And to think that these 6 7 people could do it themselves isn't very honest, I don't think. So I don't necessarily shame them for putting a request a request putting a call to get people to help them with this stuff, because there's a lot of work to be done. But it just, I don't know. It makes you wonder what. So on the one hand, it's nice that they're providing grants, they're providing work for people if they want to contribute to the program.
Mm-hmm.
But you would think that the money that was raised in the ICO would have been going to that in their own internal team, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what people expected to happen, and it just kind of hasn't. And it's tough. Those are some big footsteps to follow, and like you've got Elon Musk and Peter Thiel to compete with. I don't know if they're up to the challenge, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's an interesting comparison because they were really pioneers in sort of e-payments when the internet came around and when eBay became an important thing for e-payments, but they're really just shifting it over to this public ledger. That's really the real challenge, is to make a ledger, well, public ledger to the extent that people want it to be public. So this is the thing, the nuance and the idea that I think is going to be really tough, because it's built on Ethereum. They're going to add layers on top of Ethereum that are going to be the payment network. They're going to be the ledger. It's going to be real time. And then they're going to add layers to that to make it useful for things like auditing and accounting and taxation. So apparently you're going to be able to decide that it's going to decide how much of tax you need to pay. And I think it's asking a lot for this network to know every single rule of every single country when it comes to things like taxation. So it's a very ambitious goal. If they hope to reach their goal, I think it's very ambitious, and it's going to take a very long time.
Yeah, so I think the question is whether or not where the project is at now is worth the $300 million market cap that they've got, which was probably closer to 500 million at the beginning of the week. And I think people are starting to realize that it's not even close to that amount. And part of this update is kind of showing that.
Yeah, definitely. So I was actually curious about this, and I looked into what PayPal was valued at its IPO.
Mm-hmm.
And so PayPal had a functional product for 3 years before they went IPO, which is such a nice, like, refreshing thing to see, because it's extremely rare to have that in this coin space. And they were valued at $800 million at IPO, and I guess it's 2002 dollars, but still it's sort of comparable to where Request Network is at. It's not too far off,
right?
But they were bought out by eBay like later in the year, in 2002, to be like integrated into their eBay system. So the bubbliness of the entire crypto market, I think, is indicative here. And just, there's no product. Request Network really has no product right now that I can use to transfer money online.
Yes, so, and we don't even know when that will happen. It would be interesting to know when their mainnet will launch, but they didn't even update that in the January 19th update.
Yeah. So I don't know and it's not really fair necessarily to compare this to where PayPal was at the time. I think given that it's in this cryptocurrency field, it's not necessarily in the payments field. It needs to be compared to where everything else is at in the crypto space.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would just be more useful that way. And in terms of the different financial coins, it's the one with the lowest market cap, albeit it is the furthest from the other ones. So Ripple has an effective product. I think Stellar has a decent product, and OMG does have a product that's been used a lot. So in terms of the coin, if you look at it compared to other coins that are out there, maybe it's not overvalued too much, but I think I'm going to tread carefully when it comes to adding to my position in Request Network. I think it would be nice to see some sort of milestones hit that they're expecting to in their Q1 of 2018 before I buy too much more. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a good point. They are known pretty well for delivering on their timelines. So I think that's one thing that they do have going for them. But I don't know. I think it's a project that I might be more interested in in the first quarter of 2019, more so than currently.
Yeah, yeah. So really, I don't think the blog post is necessarily a reason to sell, but I'm gonna be cautious when it comes to adding my position, and I think I might just consider the other financial coins until I see some more progress on Request Network.
Definitely.
So is there anything else you're buying this week, Rob?
Heavy Icon, heavy V chain, and
Mm.
those are my main two horses right now.
Yeah,
Um,
so this Wednesday is the Icon mainnet launch, yeah?
this Wednesday, I expect a little bit of a pump leading up to it, a pullback when
Mm-hmm.
it releases, but then on the 31st, still waiting on the invitation, lost in the mail. The basically their big presentation for it, and they're going to give everybody a chance to use it. And I feel like they'll get a lot of publicity from that.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, shortly after, maybe a Korean exchange or two.
Right, yeah. So are you going to hold through the 24th and the 31st?
24th, 31st, and beyond.
And beyond. Wow, that's exciting. All right. Well, you're convincing me to hold too, because we've got two events that should contribute to the price. So I don't even know. I know we didn't put Icon in the title of this video, but now I'm curious to know what exchanges it's actually traded on. So it's not on any Korean exchanges.
No, so it's not on any at all. I think it wanted to become more of a global name, and they kind of wanted to build up the hype a little more with
Mm,
it within Korea
mm,
before actually launching on any exchanges.
mm.
I believe there was a little bit of a hold on listing coins on the exchanges as well. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, so Binance is number one, Huobi and OKEX. So essentially, Binance, Chinese exchanges. That's
Right.
essentially it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right. Cool. Yeah. So I don't personally have any moves in mind. I'm holding on to everything. Not gonna do too much different. If I get paid on the first, so as soon as I get some free cash, I'm going to deposit it to my GDAX account and buy up Bitcoin or Ethereum because I think right now is a good time to buy. Other than that, though, just gonna keep watching the news and hope that the government stays away from the crypto or maybe implements it like Canada does.
yeah, well, that's one of the good things about the government shutdown. They can't regulate anything while
Yeah,
this is all going on.
yeah, that's true. So with that, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button and give us a comment or a like if you have anything to say.
And don't forget to use the Binance referral code just down below there. That would be
Yes,
great.
and screw KuCoin. I can't believe I'm still baffled that they did not that their program is over.
You know, I think you had a good run. You got a couple followers. I've got a couple Binance followers, so I think it evens out in the long run.
Yeah, yeah. I just hope they bring it back.
Yeah,
But
no doubt.
with that, uh, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.
Take care.